I'm Salad, and welcome to my compilation of Season 2 of Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? You can listen to this while drawing, cleaning, doing whatever the heck you want. So enjoy this. Enjoy! I'm Salad, and I saw Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? Season 2, Episode 1. It's produced by Hanna-Barbera. This is Nowhere to Hide. If you haven't seen this episode, I will spoil it for you. And also, I should mention that I am in Washington State right now. I was born and raised in Washington State. Lived here for like 19 years. And then I moved down, so now I'm back in here. And you know what's interesting about the state? There's a lot of trees, but there's a lot of different types of trees compared to Kentucky. I mean, this Washington State has a lot of pine trees, a lot of evergreen trees, versus Kentucky has a lot of deciduous trees. You know, the trees are different, and it's fun observing it. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm in Washington. This episode starts, there's a guy, his name is Mr. Hyde, and he's a big old jewel thievery. And he does a little jewel thief, and then you know what he does? He hides in the back of the Scooby-Doo van, and I'm just watching this like, why are you doing this? Come on, man, why you gotta be like this? And then the freaking Scooby-Doo van crew be like, oh, let's go to the van, and then they go to the van, and then it's like, oh, we're not even gonna notice that there's a big old lump of something underneath this blanket. Like, you didn't notice this, Scooby-Doo? And they don't notice it until, you know, they notice it, and they're like, oh, you know, and then they go to a place, and wow, there's another guy there doing a little committing of the terror. And I'm like, oh no, wow, Mr. Hyde is here, he's doing the terrorisms, and also the Jenkins guy. That guy's also doing the terrorism. And so this freaking episode, it's very fast-paced, I gotta mention. Like, each beat is pretty much set up like as long as it takes to set up the beat is how long the scene is, which I really appreciate, because like, oh, the Scooby-Doo gang is in the van, and then if I say that sentence out loud, the entire shot establishing that information is that exact length of the sentence. So I really appreciate that. I definitely see that there's a lot more fast-pacedness in this season of Scooby-Doo already compared to the last season of Scooby-Doo. And you know, I'm liking it. It almost seems like the art is it's more polished. There's less like coloring errors, or at least in this episode there's less coloring errors. Although I do like how we still have the classic Scooby-Doo structure of having Shaggy and Scooby split up from the rest of the gang, and they are like, oh, let's go protect this food, let's protect these fruits, and then wow, the monster's there, and they gotta go run, and they scream, and originally Fred and the other people, Daphne and Velma, are like, yo, where are they at though? And then they come up, they go a little scream, ah, and then Fred investigates some more. And I'm like, Fred, we're such a brave soul. Why are you always having it so Shaggy and Scooby's are separate from you guys? They're like the most scared fellows in this group. I honestly don't understand why they split up in this way. I feel like if having Velma next to Scooby and Shaggy would help them. It would help them be less scared. But I guess them needing to be scared is like, oh, well, this is where the monster's at actually. I can hear it by the scream. But what do you think? That's just my theory on why they split up in the way that they do. If you got any theories of your own about Scooby-Doo, let me know in the comments below. This episode is pretty straightforward. While they do a little chase, they go chase, it's fun. Honestly, the Mr. Hyde is pretty cool. He's a green guy. He's a green guy, but everything else about this episode is not the most memorable to me. Like, I literally watched this like 20 minutes ago, and the green guy is the what I remember, and also the cool house, and that was cool. I liked that a lot. But otherwise, this is just a nice, fast-paced episode of Scooby-Doo. I think it's well-paced. Also, there's nice character moments, like at the very end when they capture the guy and they're like, oh wow, I can't believe it was you, oh my goodness gracious. And then it's like, the guy's like, oh, well, I would have not been caught if it weren't for you meddling kids. And I'm like, yeah, get him, meddling kids, gotta get him. And at this moment when I heard this line, I'm like, oh man, I've heard this line a lot because it's been repeated over and over and again at the end of each Scooby-Doo episode. If this line was never repeated, or maybe repeated inconsistently, I don't think this episode, or anything pertaining to any episode of Scooby-Doo for that matter, especially that line, would not be remembered ever at all. Scooby-Doo wouldn't be as iconic as it is if it didn't have the staples to keep it consistent. So this is just it's all right. It's an all right episode. There's a lot of moments where I'm like, yeah, I guess okay. I know I see them running. I guess I don't necessarily want to see them running because it's just like, okay, well, you could put something else there. But this is Scooby-Doo. This is not for me. I'm not a child. This is for children, literal children. So I understand the need to have animation there that's like portraying them running. I'm just like, I don't know, add some cool action scenes. If you have a Scooby-Doo recommendation, leave them down in the comments below. I gotta give this movie a solid, this is not a movie! I gotta give this episode a solid 6.9 out of 10. This is a nice episode. That's why I gave it that. 6.9 out of 10. If you like this review, watch another one. YouTube really likes that. If you want to fast track a movie review, you can do that for $20 Dinos at patreon.com/ASEPresents. And if you'd like to help support the daily grindiness of all them daily movie reviews, go to this link tree, find the way you can help support the daily grindiness of all them daily movie reviews, so you can go here. And until next time, I'll see you later to my sour croutons and bacon bits. And I want to show you what that guy did at the very end, well, at the very beginning of Scooby-Doo, at the very end of this review. Let me show you. Phew. I'm inside and I saw Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? Season 2, Episode 2, The Mystery Mask Mix-Up. It is produced by Hanna-Barbera, and if you haven't seen this episode, I will spoil it for you. Daphne gets a mask, a pretty mask from this festival, and then with this mask comes a bunch of people trying to steal it. And I'm just thinking, yo, you can get your own mask. Daphne got the one from where she got it. Maybe there's more masks like it where she was at, but no, we gotta steal Daphne. We literally had to kidnap Daphne. Oh my goodness. So this episode goes pretty hard in that regard because I don't think I've ever seen a Scooby-Doo movie or episode where Daphne gets yoinked just for having a mask. Of course, I do like how we have the Scooby-Doo gang trying to figure out what the heck's going on with this fun business that we got over here. Also, Fred is like, oh, we got a clue. He's the big clue, big brainer in this episode. It seems like Velma in this episode is just kind of content to answering all of the questions that Scooby and Shaggy have. And it's like really fun, obvious questions too, because it's like, oh, what's that over there? Well, that's a door. And I'm like, okay, good job, Velma. I do like the part where Scooby and Shaggy are running away from that guy, and I like that scene. There's a lot of this in this episode, as there are the Scooby-Doo episodes, but what makes this one different is that we're looking for Daphne, and she's kidnapped, and we gotta find a way to find Daphne without alerting the monster. And it looks like the monster's here, and he's chasing Scooby and Shaggy around. Wow, they should have been a lot quieter if they didn't want to get caught. I do like how eventually we find Daphne. This episode's pacing is very fast. Like, I was watching this, I'm like, okay, so Daphne's got the mask. Oh, now there's a bunch of people following her. Oh, now she's being kidnapped. And this all happens within like 20 minutes. I'm like, why is this happening? Oh my goodness gracious. Well, I like this Scooby-Doo episode. I really like the animation of the monsters, especially that green guy. I like that green guy a lot. I also was noticing his animation's like really smooth. Like, they put a lot of effort into his animation. And then after I noticed his animation was good, I noticed that the Scooby-Doo animation was good, and there wasn't like any coloring outside of the lines that I noticed. There was a lot of good coloring, good animation, and I'm like, okay, I can definitely see what the Scooby-Doo team is doing. They're putting more effort into Scooby-Doo, which I like. I like the increased efforts. I also like the story. It's definitely doing a step up from any other Scooby-Doo story that I've seen. So if you know any of any Scooby-Doo stories that involve kidnapping or something worse, let me know in the comments below. I gotta give this episode a solid 6.6 out of 10. If you like this review, watch another one. YouTube really likes that. If you want to fast track a movie review, you can do that for $20 redeemos on patreon.com/ASEPresents. And if you like to help support daily grindiness of all them daily movie reviews, go to this link tree on the way you can help support the daily grind of all them daily movie reviews. So go here, and until next time, I'll see you later, my side croutons, bacon bits. I'm in Salad and I saw Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? Season 2, Episode 3, Scooby's Night with a Frozen Fright. It is produced by Hanna-Barbera, and if you haven't seen this episode, I will spoil it for you. By the way, I'm in a hotel room. It's pretty early, as you could probably tell, so I'm going to be a little bit quieter in this review, just to let you know. This episode starts with the Scooby-Doo gang, and they're on a fishing trip, and I'm like, I didn't know they would ever go fishing ever. But you know, I like it. It's definitely something different. I haven't seen this done in any other Scooby-Doo episodes where they've gone explicitly fishing. They've done like camping and such. But also, I like how Scooby and Shaggy catch this guy in ice. Man, I'm starting to notice a trend with like Scooby-Doo episodes that all the things that happen because Scooby and Shaggy are like, oh, well, we're just gonna exist. And then like they stumble into something, and then we have Fred, Shaggy, and Velma and Daphne rather. They're just, oh wow, I can't believe it. We have a puzzle piece to fit together. We got a mystery on our hands. And so the mystery in this case is this man frozen in ice. He's in ice, he's just chilling. Get it? Because he's in ice. Ba-dum-ching. I would want to put him back into the freezer. I'd want to keep him frozen. I don't know, he could be like needing cryogenic sleep. For whatever reason. Maybe he signed up for a program. He's like, oh, well, I want to be frozen in a block of ice. I don't know the guy. So of course I'm not going to like disrupt his sleep or anything. I don't want to be the cause of that. So I would put him back in the freezer. It's the Scooby-Doo gang. They're just like, oh, well, we got to solve this mystery of what's going on here. Who is this guy? And then, wow, he melts. Man, they should have put him in the freezer. They didn't even stop to consider they should do something with him, and now he's out and about and he's terrorizing. This guy is literally just stomping his feet. And I'm like, yo, why you gotta be so rude? Don't you know that we're all human too? We don't deserve to be in a loud environment. Well, personally, I am not a big fan of loud environments, unless, you know, it's intentionally supposed to be loud. Like, I want to expect things. This guy just being loud and causing a scene and rampaging and disrupting people, I'm not a big fan of it. So I agree that Scooby-Doo gang's like, well, we gotta solve this mystery, and I agree with that decision. I really like the investigation process. The investigation process goes as such. Scooby and Shaggy are like, I want food. So they go to this place on this guy's property and they stumble into something, and then Shaggy and Scooby are like, oh wow, we're scared because we found this monster. It's usually a monster, or if it's like a clue, then like the rest of the gang is like called over, like, yo, check this out, and then they check it out, and they're like, okay, we gotta go to this other place, and then Shaggy and Scooby's like, whoa, I don't want to, he's scared. And if it takes Scooby-Doo to do something, he can only be bribed with Scooby snacks. He won't initially do something, of course. It's just something that I've noticed within all the Scooby-Doo episodes. I really like this pattern. I like observing patterns. There's a professor, he's like professing, yo, what's up with this caveman? What's up with the caveman? Spoiler alert, he's the caveman. The professor's the caveman. And this reveal, I noticed it because these other Scooby-Doo episodes, I always forget who is the reveal. Because honestly, I enjoy the journey along the way. And I like seeing like what happens at the end, and then I forget the end, which is definitely a bad practice. But hey, I like this guy. I remembered him because you want to bring the guy alive. This could be like for scams, I guess. You wanted to. I saw this. I saw the ice machine. Like, there's a bunch of ice cubes, and like it could just make ice. And I'm like, okay, so if you just put a bunch of, what if you stole a bunch of like museum fossils from like around the country, and then kind of did a little swippity swap? How about like if, let's say you got something from Seattle. Why is there hair in my mouth? You say you got something from Seattle, and then like you have this ice cube from like Florida, like Florida ice water, but you put the object from Seattle within the Florida ice water, so you like plant it, and then you like, oh wow, I can't believe it, there's a guy just floating in the ice, he's a caveman, hey, other museum from Florida, check this out, check out this ice block. But you can sell that floating block of ice, so it seems like a money-making scam. The fact that he's not doing that, he's instead wanting to cosplay. I don't like this guy's reasoning. Whatever, Scooby-Doo gang figured it out. They did it. This guy is so weird. Anyway, what do you think of this episode? I like as I like study it more and more, upon like just like surface level watching, it's entertaining. Like, it's entertaining for anyone who's not like paying attention to it. But there's also like a actual mystery. There's a mystery needing to be solved, and within this mystery, there's like it's beat to beat to beat. It's very fast paced, and then like all the running is like, oh, they have to run away from the guy, and you know, that's fun and entertaining. But it's also, you know, useful to have that there. Also, the colors are vibrant. The animation is definitely increasing in quality from the first season, and with each episode of the second season, I could just notice it. It's like kind of like similar, but like there's like things tweaked between each episode that I can tell. It's like, okay, it's definitely a little bit better than the first few episodes of the first season. Oh boy. Anyway, what's your favorite episode of Scooby-Doo? Where are you? Leave it in the comments. What do you think of this episode and all the fun jazz about anything about Scooby-Doo? Just let me know in the comments. I gotta give this episode a solid, it is definitely a 6.6 out of 10. If you like this review, watch another one. YouTube really likes that. If you want a fast track movie review, you can do that for $20 deals at patreon.com/ASEPresents. And if you'd like to help support the daily grindiness of all them daily movie reviews, go to this link tree. Find the way you can help support the daily grind of all them daily movie reviews. So I can go here, and until next time, mint salad. So I'll see you later, my sour croutons and big bits. I'm in Salad and I saw Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? Season 2, Episode 4, Jeepers Creepers, and I have Carl the Creeper with me to accommodate me on this episode review. And if you haven't seen this episode, I will spoil it for you. By the way, it's Carl with a C. Get it? 'Cause the alliteration, Carl the Creeper. This episode starts, the Scooby-Doo's just having a good old time, and they meet this bank guy, and he's on the ground, he's like, blah, blah, blah. Oh no, there's some clues, I'm gonna say some clues, right? You know, as you do. And then, okay, we encounter this guy, he kind of looks undead. He's not a good guy. He doesn't look like he's enjoying his life. His skin complexion isn't really the greatest. And of course, chasing the Scooby-Doo gang, and that's them right now, of course. And you know what happens? We gotta make sure that we gotta go after them. We gotta find some clues, and then find some clues, and actually, guess who's behind it? Person running the bank. Why are you robbing yourself? This is a pretty simple Scooby-Doo, not gonna lie. Epically simple. You know, it's just brings me back to classic Scooby-Doo, like the first season. It's pretty simple, easy peasy, lemon squeezy. You know, I think that Carl the Creeper definitely likes this episode a lot because there's a creeper and he's like cool, you know? I like him. So honestly, there's not really much I can say about this. Man, the animation is very much the same, and I like the acting and the directing and the pacedness. It's very fast, and I like it. I like this episode a lot. What do you think of this episode? Let me know in the comments below. Personally, is there anything that I found to be spectacular about this episode? Well, I do like the part in which we have the bank is being robbed, and there's a guy who's like, oh, I'm gonna help you. Oh, well, actually, I'm not gonna help you because I'm doing it. Frickin' switcheroo, relying on the Scooby-Doo to trust him, the Scooby-Doo gang to trust him implicitly, explicitly, whatever the words mean, whatever. Anyway, I gave this 6.5 out of 10. If you like this review, watch another one. YouTube really likes that. If you want a fast track a movie review, you can do that for $20 deals at patreon.com/ASEPresents. You want to help support the daily grindiness of other daily movers, go to this link tree. So you can go here, and until next time, mint salad sauce. See you later, my salad croutons, baked bits. I'm in Salad and I saw Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? Season 2, Episode 5, Haunted House Hang-Up, produced by Hanna-Barbera, and if you haven't seen this episode, I will spoil it for you. This episode starts, we have the Scooby gang, and they're having a chill time in the van, and their van breaks down. Well, first of all, they ask a guy, hey guy, which way do you want to go? Okay, do you want to go the long way? You want to go the short way? You could go the short way, but there's a haunted house and you could get haunted there. And they go the short way, and then their van breaks down, and I'm like, you should have gone the long way, guy. But whatever, who cares? Honestly, they are just like, well, let's go to that haunted place, and of course there's a haunted place, and it's like, what is the reason for this haunted place to be here? Like, obviously this is Scooby-Doo, and so they eventually figure out who it is, but it's their friend. It's their friend who's doing the haunting of it all. And I'm like, why are you chasing them, guy? You're their friend. You're betraying their trust. You had their trust, and now it's gone because you feel the need to freaking haunt them. You feel the need to spook them. You feel the need to be like, oh, you should leave because you're in a haunted house. Ooh. I'm like, freaking guy, chill out. Why you gotta do this? What, treasure? Oh, wow, treasure. Oh, it's always about the treasure. Why are the friends of Scooby-Doo gang always greedy? Or the people they go to the haunted houses of, and they're always greedy. This guy's especially greedy. Man, I am starting to feel that the only pure people in the Scooby-Doo world are the Scooby-Doo gang themselves. They're the only pure people because everybody else is trying to do some fun scam, trying to enact some haunting scam that somehow the Scooby-Doo gang always finds a way to unfoil because Scooby-Doo, the dog, is a genius. Why do you think they keep Scooby-Doo around? Because in time of need, Scooby-Doo is always the guy to figure out the solution to an issue. Either it's by accident, like he crashes into it, he's like, oh, I guys, we're trying to show off. And then he crashes, and then it uncovers like the secret door, some whatever. It could be whatever, but he always uncovers it. Or he's giving a Scooby snack and it's like, wow, oh my goodness, we're so scared, says the Scooby gang. Can you do this thing for us, Scooby-Doo? And he initially says no, and that takes a couple of Scooby snacks, and once he gets the Scooby snacks, he's like, ah, tough man, dog, ah. And then he's able to figure out everything. He's able to like get him out of the sticky situation. Okay, I really like the dynamic. As I watch more and more of these episodes, I am starting to learn more and more of the dynamic of everybody involved in the Scooby-Doo gang, okay? We have Scooby-Doo, is obviously, he's comic relief, but he's also a hidden genius. And when push comes to shove, he'll always get the Scooby-Doo gang out of a pickle. And he's a dog, so he's cute. It's great. We have Shaggy. His power levels are obviously over 9,000, and he hides his power levels. That's why he needs to eat all the time, because his power level is so high. And he's always scared. But when he's not scared, when he doesn't recognize the guy as a monster, he's like, he's insanely invincible. Like, he's also the best friend to Scooby-Doo, which is important. You need that emotional catharsis. But he's always scared, but he's able to assist. He's able to assist Scooby-Doo and be his second-hand man. He's able to be his wingman. And then we also have Velma. She doesn't initially like look at clues. That's Fred. Fred initially does the clue looking at. He's the clue looking at. He's like, oh wow, we found this thing. And then like Velma is like, well, actually I have some facts and knowledge about this. And then Daphne is like, she approaches it from the social thing. She's approaching it from like, oh well, like, what do you think of, like, maybe he did this because of this social reason, and like Velma's always approaching something as from facts and logic, and then Fred is the guy who makes the definitive decision, and he's the leader of the group. That's from what I can garner so far. This episode is fun. It always displays the dynamic, and I like fleshing out the dynamic of the Scooby-Doo gang. I explained it. What do you think in the comments? Do you think I'm right? Do you think you can add something to my amazing Scooby-Doo list, I guess? I don't know. I'll have to watch more Scooby-Doo and flesh it out even more. But I do enjoy seeing all these Scooby-Doos and being like, oh wow, there's a little bit more I know about each character. So it's always fun. So anyway, I like the colors in this, the colors are vibrant, and I like the unmasking of the guy at the end, and I like what happens at the end. More Scooby-Doo being a clumsy guy. I love it. I love Scooby-Doo being a clumsy guy. That's definitely, it's his power actually. It's his superpower is being clumsy. When I first started watching Scooby-Doo, I was like, why is Scooby-Doo always being so clumsy? But it's a superpower actually. So I like that. So honestly, if I had to give this movie, this isn't a movie, if I had to give this episode, I'd give it like a solid, it's like a 6.4, I guess. It's a 6.4. If you like this review, watch another one. YouTube really likes that. If you want to fast track a movie review, you can do that for $20 dinos at patreon.com/ASEPresents. And if you'd like to help support the daily grind for all them daily movie reviews, go to this link tree, find the way. You can help support the daily grind and all them daily movie reviews. Oh, here I am, doing the daily grind, so you can go here, and until next time, salad. See you later, my side croutons, big bits. I'm inside and I saw Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? Season 2, Episode 6, A Tiki Scare is No Fair. It is produced by Hanna-Barbera, and if you haven't seen this episode, I will spoil it for you. This episode starts with seeing the Scooby-Doo crew in Hawaii, and I'm just thinking, how the heck can they afford it? Did they have somebody sponsor their trip or something? Because they're just chilling in Hawaii. Have you seen the prices in Hawaii? Have you seen how expensive it is to live in Hawaii? I mean, look at all these freaking rent prices. Oh, look, it's so expensive. What do you think the cost of living is there? I mean, I've been to Maui once. That's not main island Hawaii, but Maui, oh boy, it was pretty expensive when I remember being there. And that was when I was, that was in like 2010. That was 2010. Think of it. I guess 1960 had better prices, I guess. Man, I would love to live in the 1960s for the prices alone. 50 cents chocolate or whatever. The Scooby-Doo gang be like chilling. And then this guy be like, yo, don't go in that village. And it's like, they're chilling. You're just going to tell them not to go into a village? Well, obviously you have to go into a village now because you told them not to go and they weren't originally going to go, but now they want to go. And so we have frickin' Fred be like, oh, well, let's go investigate what's in that village. And there's a bunch of people, like usual, trying to scare them away from that village. And I really like the traps that Fred sets up. He's a really trapped man. He's like, okay, let's put this bed sheet up. And okay, so here's my theory. They run through the bed sheet, they get blindsided by the bed sheet or whatever, and then we got him. And I'm like looking at these, how do they work? I'm looking at these schemes and I'm just like, man, if only schemes worked like this good in real life. Because wow, it seems like Fred's schemes always work. It's usually like, they don't always work though. I really like the part where Fred has like a couple of schemes that he like sets up, and then it's always like Scooby and Shaggy who are like, oh, we're scared, we're too scared, we're gonna fall into the trap instead of the monster falling into the trap. But then with this mistake on Scooby and Shaggy's part, there's always something that they uncover and the rest of the gang's like, oh, that's cool, I guess. So this episode really does focus a lot on Scooby and Shaggy. There wasn't like a huge like Velma and Daphne presence as like the other ones, but there's a lot of Fred. It was a very male-centric episode, and you know, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the guy, the tiki guy, the witch doctor. What's a witch doctor? Like, is it a doctor that only specializes in witches? Is it a doctor that specializes in potions and such? Like, what is a witch doctor? What is it really? Scooby and Shaggy are definitely leading the charge in this episode. Watching it, I'm like, man, A, pace fast like the other ones. But there's a lot of, like, personality. I feel like in these later episodes of Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? There's, like, more personality within, like, the dialogue. And I know more about each of these characters than I did like in season 1. I guess it might be the length of exposure to them, or maybe it's just the episodes are getting more and more packed with character things, because, you know, characters are cool. I like to know more about these characters that I'm watching on screen. So I found that to be fascinating. I also like the part in which they uncover the monster dude. And the monster dude has turned out to be the witch doctor that was trying to warn them in the first place. And like, as soon as he walked up to be like, hey, don't go over there, I was like, this is them. This is the frickin' witch doctor trying to tell him not to go in that haunted village. And who's doing the haunting? That frickin' witch doctor trying to tell him not to go there. What? Why? Oh, well, you're gonna uncover my schemes. You're gonna uncover my schemes. Okay. Have fun, I guess. I guess enough people aren't curious enough about something to go investigate it, and so we're able to have this haunted village be a problem for so long, but then it's uncovered by the brave and stunning and brave Scooby-Doo gang. They're stunning and brave, and they uncover the mystery. And I like that. I like that part. And then the end is like, Scooby-Doo and gang have a little chill time. They're having a chill time, and they're having a good time in Hawaii. And it makes me want to go to Hawaii. And I don't know what else is in Hawaii. I mean, I've been there once. They have cool oceans. Their oceans are really clear. And they have I actually haven't had their like seafood. Oh man, they have lizards. Oh man, you want to hear a story about the time when I went to Hawaii? So I went to Maui when I was like 9 or 10. I don't remember how old I was, but there were a bunch of these lizards. And I was always trying to catch these like tiny little lizard guys. And I was always trying to like smush them together to make them have sex. Literally. Yeah, that was me at 9. And so like, I found a great way to catch them. It would to be like, put them in a towel, like catch them. Oh, you can't go anywhere, got a surface area. But it'll always be like hard to maneuver the lizard in my hands to like smash them together without like losing one of them. So, you know, my goal of having a lizard army never came to be because I couldn't twist them around with my towel hands. So that's a fun story, fond memories about me being in Maui. So there's that. Man, there should be more Scooby-Doo episodes and things where he's in Hawaii. Aloha, Scooby-Doo is an abomination, and you can check out my review on that because I've already reviewed that and I freaking hate it. I have so many things to say about that. This is not this review. I like this episode. It's cozy. Makes me want to go back to Hawaii. I want to go to Hawaii. Why are the Scooby-Doo gang in Hawaii if I'm not in Hawaii? So I gotta give this episode, I don't know, it's like a 6.6 out of 10. If you like this review, watch another one. YouTube really likes that. If you want to fast track a movie review, you can do that for $20 deals at patreon.com/ASEPresents. And if you'd like to help support the daily grind of all them daily movie reviews, go to this link tree on the way you can help support the daily grind of all them daily movie reviews. So you can go here. And until next time, mint salad salt. I'll see you later, my side crew. So bacon bits. Oh wow! I just got hit by a trap door. And now I'm hovering in midair like I'm in Scooby-Doo. Wow, I can't believe it. Oh, now I'm going to go fall now. I'm inside and I saw Scooby-Doo. Where are you? Season 2, episode 7. Who's afraid of the big bad werewolf? It is produced by Hanna-Barbera. And if you haven't seen this episode, I will spoil it for you. First of all, the Scooby gang, they're having a little chill in the campground. And honestly, I don't think I've seen a Scooby-Doo episode where they start outside of the mystery machine and they're camping. Like, I don't think I've ever seen that. So this is immediately a first. Freaking bugs! Get yum shoom. That was cool. There's like a whole marking now on the wall because I did that. Well, anyway, so there's this whole camping, and I'm like, where are the bugs? I had to deal with the bug just now recording this. Where are your bugs? Oh my goodness. Well, anyway, I do like they're having a camp, and Scooby and Shaggy are told to do the tent, and they're bad at doing the tent. And I'm like, why would you assign them to do the tent? Because what? You're setting up traps or something, Fred? Like, Fred, it's been proven that you have been the guy, the big brain guy in the team. You should know where to assign people aces in their places. You doof. Oh, wow, howling werewolf. Ooh, that's the werewolf sound, is that horrifying noise that I just made. And we have Shaggy and Scooby. They're naturally terrified of it. There's a wolfy, wolfy, wolf, woof. And I'm just like, okay, how are they gonna deal with this? It's kind of weird that there's a werewolf. I love the art in this. There's like an opening shot of the werewolf going, ah-woo, right before we see the Scooby-Doo gang. They're having a little camp. And it's a beautiful shot of the wolf going, ah-wooga, you know? That's what the sounds that werewolves make is, ah-woo. Wait, let me do it right. Ah-wooga. Yeah, that's the sound that the werewolf makes. Anyway, so I like the Scooby-Doo gang. They're chilling, and then they're not chill. You wanna know why? Because the werewolf be like, I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get you. And they're lured into this place. It's not really immediately clear what type of place this is, but it is noted that this type of place is a wool mill or something. They get covered in a bunch of wool or something, and I'm like, bro, what you want to use this wool for, werewolf man? Because obviously this is a werewolf's place. He's in the place. What? There's going to be abandoned factories laying around? No, this has to be the werewolf's factory. So that's what I thought, at least. And so we have the Scooby-Doo gang be like, oh, just having a little run. They run around. I like the part where we have Scooby and Shaggy are mostly together in this episode. And then we have Fred, Daphne, and Velma are also split up. So it's those two groups. And frequently we have, oh, where's Scooby-Doo? Or like... and then they appear. Or, hey, where's Velma and crew? And then they appear. It's usually what happens. This episode is pretty fast-paced. It's pretty much like, okay, let's establish this thing. Then, within like 10 seconds, let's do a resolution to this clue. And let's get on with the next clue. So there's a lot of this happening in this... well, every episode of Scooby-Doo, but especially in this episode of Scooby-Doo. That's how fast-paced it is, you know. So I do enjoy that we have some elaborate traps. Fred is the trap master. He does all the traps himself. He's like, hey, Scooby-Doo gang, hey, you're gonna do this, you're gonna do this, Scooby and Shaggy, and you're gonna be the people that lure the monster out. I'm like, why you always gotta make the scaredy cats the ones that lure the monster out? Was it because they never do their jobs properly when they're not doing their luring outness? Like, first of all, why? Is there some situation that has happened before that I've never seen where we've had, oh, hey, Velma and Daphne, how about you lure the monster out? And then Scooby and Shaggy have messed up their positions. I mean, they mess up the positions when they're being chased. Like, they activate a trap too early, or like they like are like, oh, hey, we're gonna snip, we're gonna barber the werewolf in this case, and then the werewolf be like, arr, and then they chase them, and then they get him into the trap, and then it's like, ooh, we got you, werewolf man. Wow, I can't believe it was the guy. It was the wool man all along. Why could he do this? Oops, I touched the mic. Man, why wool man? Why wool man? Why you gotta do this? Why you gotta do this? Anyway, what's funny about this episode of Scooby-Doo is like Scooby-Doo, right? You know how Scooby-Doo episodes end? It's fun. You know, it kind of was a little abrupt for me. I was like, oh wow, this is the end. Oh wow, Scooby-Doo saying Scooby-Doo. There wasn't really much of like a huge setup to that, other than like a couple exchanges and then Scooby-Doo being like Scooby-Doo. It's usually longer at the back end, but this is all right. I'm fine with that. This episode was fun. I liked the green werewolf, and I liked seeing them go through the entire mill and be like, oh, we're lost. Oh, I can't believe it. It was fun. It was a fun episode. I enjoyed this episode a lot. Do I got anything else to say about it? I mean, the colors are vibrant. The animation is so good. It's good animation. It's very fluid. I can definitely tell that they're working on their walking cycle animations. The walking cycles are smooth. Scooby-Doo got some smooth walking cycle animation over here. Okay, you just gotta appreciate it for what it is, and I appreciate it, Scooby-Doo. Whoever the animators are, I hope you're not dead, because I thank you for doing the hard work of animating this. So, good job. Scooby-Doo, where are you, animation team? You did good. You did a good job here. Colors were nice. You know, this episode is just generally easily pleasing to the eyes. I want to see Scooby-Doo gang outside more. And not just the movies, I want to see it in the episodes. So because of that, is there anything else I gotta mention about the Scooby-Doo episode? It's overall fine, I guess. Ooh, I liked it. I gotta give this episode a solid 6.3 out of 10. If you like this review, watch another one. YouTube really likes it. If you want a fast track a movie review, you can do that for $20 deals at patreon.com/ASERpresents. And if you'd like to help support the daily grind of all them daily movie reviews, go to this link tree, find the way you can help support the daily grind of all them daily movie reviews. So you can go here, and it's the next time in Salad Saw. I'll see you later, my salad croutons, big bits. I'm inside and I saw Scooby-Doo. Where are you? Season 2, Episode 8, Don't Fool with a Phantom. It is produced by Hanna-Barbera. And if you haven't seen this episode, I will spoil it for you. This episode starts, we have the frickin' Scooby gang. They're like having a little chill. They're having a little dance. Frickin' Daphne, greatest dancer, she'd be like boo-doo-boo-doo-boo, boo-doo-boo-doo-boo, boo-doo-boo-doo, boo-doo-boo-boo, you know? And then frickin' Fred keeping up with her. I'm like, phew. And then we have Scooby and Shaggy doing the spaghetti dance. They're literally wrapped in spaghetti, eating it off their bodies. Have you seen a Scooby-Doo like this? I haven't. No other Scooby-Doo has opened like this, and I admire the creators for attempting to create a Scooby-Doo every single time. That is new. Every time there's a new one. There's a new bit at the beginning, okay? That's what I'm trying to say. So, okay, I like Scooby-Doo. I like Shaggy. They're having a chill time. Wow, there's a wax man. He's like, I'm gonna steal stuff. And then he steals a safe. And that safe ain't safe from thievery, okay? That safe ain't safe from thievery because it's already been stolen. That's a terrible safe. Bad safe. Bad. We need to, who's we? People, I don't know anything about banks. Okay, I don't know anything about safes. I think that the bank people should have better safes. You know, I'm thinking that these doofuses, they had their safe stolen because the bank people wouldn't provide them a good safe. Take it up to the bank. Or maybe they didn't upgrade. They're like, it's too expensive. Well, look what's expensive now. All your money's taken. And now you have no safe and no money. Get wrecked. So anyway, I like how Scooby and Shaggy are like a team. Also, Velma is part of that team too. You know, this episode has a weird splitting up between the group. So of course, it's Fred and Daphne. But then we have Scooby, Shaggy, and Velma as like part of this team. They follow the wax man. There's like a little museum thing. And then they're like, oh, let's go. It's like a weird, wacky maze where it's hard to find out where everyone is. It's like everyone gets easily lost. And everyone encounters the wax man. And this guy is literally made out of wax. I'm like, bro, why are you made out of wax? You know, your weakness is fire. You know, if the Scooby-Doo gang was able to use a fire, if they were ever to be like, flamethrower this freaking wax man, I'd like to see him melted. That seems torturous, but also awesome. I'd like to see that. If anyone has animation of Scooby-Doo, Shaggy, flamethrowing this wax man, please send it to me, because I need it in my life. What's also interesting is that the dynamic kind of like splits up several times. So it's like two different types of groups within this episode. Of course, Scooby and Shaggy are alone again. Velma, Daphne, and Fred are together. And we have this freaking wax monster. And I noticed that the wax monster, the wax monster seems pretty heavily animated compared to like other monsters. It's just the hands. It's something about the hands. Like, for example, we have freaking the hand be like, moovity, moovity, move. He does a lot of moving. And because of how much he's animated, there's some moments which I noticed, I'm like, it's not like the best animation. Like, there's better in the season. But I do appreciate the over-animatedness. Like, the very beginning of this, not the season, the series, like, it's just like a bunch of still shots, and they're just like, oh yeah, let's just talk, and then, move, and then talk again, because it's, budget reasons. There's a budget reason for doing that, and now they have more budget, and so they're able to put in more pencil time and create like more animations. And I appreciate the animations, and the running cycles are getting super smooth, especially for Scooby and Shaggy. Like, at the very end of the season, their clothes are like moving pretty heavily. They're animated pretty heavily. And I'm like, oh wow, they're really stepping up their game. This is the end of the season, by the way. So season 3 is coming up. They'll be like, oh, will we get renewed for season 3? Well, let's do all the hardest we can. And I could see it in the work that I see it. So anyway, they do all the sliding stuff. They all run from the Wax Man. You know what's interesting about this episode? So there's one time where it's like Scooby and Shaggy are bribed with Scooby snacks. And then the second time where Fred is like, hey, I have a plan to get this Wax Man. Okay, you guys gotta lure him into this like little wax shower thing. Also, a bunch of Daphne and Velma do the jumping on top of him, doing a bunch of fun stuff. And I'm just like, okay, Fred, what is that shower? Is that water? I think he said wax shower. I'm like, oh geez, what would happen if they accidentally got stuck and then we're just waxed? And guess what? Because Scooby and Shaggy are like, no, they said no. They literally didn't have to be bribed with Scooby snacks the second time. They're like, straight up no. And then they walk away, and then we have the freaking wax monster there. There's a little bit of defiance here. Wow, I've actually never seen Scooby and Shaggy go against their friends like this without like a Scooby snack. I mean, it happened earlier in the episode, but the second time it happened, they're just like, no, we're putting our foot down. And I respect that. There's a lot of character. It seems like there's a lot of character progress. The character development throughout the season, but especially in this episode. This episode has a lot of character moments. Small interactions within each other. More than, like, earlier episodes of Scooby-Doo. So I'm really liking the direction that they're going. The peoples, the writing peoples, you know what I mean, the writing peoples. I like how we have some resistance, and because they resisted, they get punished with being encased in wax, hot wax, and it melts on them. And I'm just thinking, can they breathe under there? They're encased in wax. Last time I saw, wax is not aeratable. You can't breathe through wax, okay? You can't breathe through wax. I do be like this watching this episode. I'll be like, ugh! So, of course, it takes a little bit of the bonk to the head. Boom! The wax falls off. And I'm like, how are you guys still alive? You guys aren't like, oh, thank God, I'm alive, I can breathe now. No, they're not like that. Shaggy goes, oh, that's it. Freaking. It's just something that ruffled my feathers, rustled my kerfuffled me. It rustled my feathers. I think that's the correct way to say that. Well, anyway, so this episode is like, oh, well, we got him. We got the guy. Oh, wow, he's a man from the TV station. I'm like, why are you doing this? Well, money reasons. Good luck in jail, guy. Enjoy your time in jail. Also, what's interesting about this episode, it doesn't end in the traditional Scooby-Doo-Doo. You know what ends in? They're having a little bit of a fight. Actually, you know what's actually? They're like, oh, you were called dumb earlier? You guys called yourself dumb earlier? To get away from the monster. You're like, oh yeah, we're already dummies. We're already wax dummies. Because the freaking monster wanted to make them into wax dummies. And then they're like, oh yeah, we're dummies, haha. And then at the very end, we have Fred, Velma, Daphne are like, oh yeah, you guys are dummies. And then Scooby and Shaggy be like, very funny. And then Scooby be like, and then that just ends on that. I'm like, what? This doesn't follow the format. What the heck? So maybe something happens in season 3. Maybe there's like a whole like character development arc. And I'm excited for it. I'm excited for more Scooby-Doo because they just slowly become more and more peoples to me. There's a little bit of character traits that are shown a little bit more throughout each episode, and I'm enjoying this. So this was the end of season 2. Oh, I should have a season 2 recap. Okay, so you know what? The animation, it's pretty much the same throughout the entire run. Like the quality, the last episode is especially a little bit more over animated than the earlier ones. Although at the very beginning of the season, it's less animated than like the end. But the quality is the same. It's just the amount of animation that I've noticed is different. And I like how it's like kind of noticeable that there's more of a budget increase, and so there's more like writing stuffs. Like I like the writing. I feel like the writing in this season is a little bit more faster paced and kind of quick, gets to the point, and shows a little bit of each of the characters. Just a little bit. Like each character has some catchphrase, I guess is a proper way, or if they say something, or they say like a retort that is only applicable to them. Like Shaggy has a lot of those retorts, and I really like them. Man, I was thinking of one. I gotta make a mental note of it. Cause Shaggy's so cool, and he has some sass in this episode, but I forgot the quote. Dang it. Anyway, I can just assure you that Shaggy has a lot of sass. He's a lot of sass. I like that sass. He goes sassy, you know? So anyway, I like this episode a lot. Did I already say that I'm excited for season 3? Because I am. So I like it. I think I gotta give this episode, I mean, the colors are pretty much good. Good color usage. Should mention that. But I gotta give this episode a solid, it's like a 6.5 out of 10. If you like this review, watch another one. YouTube really likes that. If you want a fast track a movie review, you can do that. $20 Dinos at patreon.com/ASEPresents. And if you'd like to help support the daily grindiness of all them daily movie reviews, you can go to this link tree, find the way you can help support the daily grind of all them daily movie reviews. So you can go here. And until next time, mint salad saw. I'll see you later, my sour croutons and big bits. You know what? I should get away now, because there's a wax man after me. Oh, he's on the roof. Oh, he's gonna pounce. I better get down.